This is a quick sales training module on how to build your value proposition. This is one thing that can be very common for us to struggle with, as it can be difficult to get your hands around just exactly what your value is and how to communicate that. We'll show you exactly how to do both of those, and we'll start out by looking at what is a poor value proposition, or actually what we can often do is say something instead of our value proposition when we meet someone or when we begin a conversation. And let's look at what some common things that we end up saying are, and why these are bad. You might meet someone at a networking event, and the first thing they do is say, "Oh yeah, well, I work for Initech. We provide software engineering of bank software." There's no value there. That doesn't tell me how you help your clients at all. "Yeah, and we've been in business for over 16 years. Okay, so again, that tells me you're not a startup, or you have a little longevity, but again, that doesn't tell me how you might be able to help me. You're not building any curiosity at this point. "And we're the industry leader in software engineering." Okay, well, that tells me how you see yourself stacking up against your competition. I don't know if that's credible or not, and B, I don't even know what you do, so it really means nothing to me. And so what is wrong with this approach, kind of having this type of talk track? Well, for one thing, we are all self-serving at a certain level. This means we have our own interests, and we're very motivated to fill those interests, and really to spend our time thinking and talking about our interests, right? And when you talk down this type of path, you're really feeding more into your interests than the prospects. At this point in a conversation, if this is a new interaction with someone, they might not care yet about your company and all the great things that you're doing. A prospect might not really understand what your product or service does. When you just really drill right into your product, you know your product inside and out, and it might be very easy for you to talk about the lingo and the details, whereas it could be a foreign topic to your prospect, and they might be a little lost. You're talking in your language, not in theirs. This type of conversation doesn't build any interest, because you're talking about yourself. It doesn't build any curiosity, and it doesn't build any intrigue. It doesn't tell the prospect in any way how you can help them. If anything, this can trigger guardedness. As the prospect's hearing these types of talk tracks, they begin to start to think, uh-oh, a salesperson trying to sell something, I either need to begin to protect myself, or I need to find my way out of this conversation. And that's really something that you really want to do. Everything you say, you want to say in a way that it will not trigger any guardedness. You want to foster a relationship with a prospect, not push them away. And that's what your value a value proposition can help to do. So if you saw those images and you thought, well, I kind of do that, and to be honest with you, I do that at times too. But why do we do this? Well, there's a really clear reason why. And that is because a lot of the knowledge and experience that we've built up working day in and day out is in some key areas, like the company we work for, the product that we sell, the functionality that the product provides, the features that we offer, and the benefits that are delivered. These details are very inward focused, and they're all about me. And really, when we get hired by a company, we might get trained in these areas. When we work day in and day out, this becomes where all our experience and knowledge is. And you know what? We have a lot of interest in these areas, because typically we get a lot of pride out of the products that we sell. We're really knowledgeable about it. And you know what? These areas, talking about these areas, is what leads to us getting paid. We associate talking about our products with selling products and us getting paid, when in reality that connection might not be as clear as that. When we have this foundation here, that's basically what feeds into everything that we say when we're talking with prospects. when we need to think of a statement to say, we rely on this information. That's why we start talking about what our company does, and that can feed into whether we're introducing ourselves, we're talking on a cold call, we're typing up an email, we meet someone at a networking event, we're developing pages for our website, we're on social media, we're delivering presentations. And so with this foundation, if we're not careful, we really get out there in the field and start talking really in an all about me way, and that can not have the most optimum effect on our effort. So here's an alternative approach. We kind of turn that model upside down. Instead of talking about our company and our products, let's focus on our value that our products deliver. Let's focus on the pain that our products help to fix. Let's qualify our prospects by asking if they have the pain that we help to fix. Let's prepare for the prospects' objections in their messaging. Let's get more creative to build interest instead of just talking about our products. And let's establish credibility talking about other companies that we've helped and other people that we're working with. This is a more prospect-focused approach, and when you have this foundation and knowledge, it can really feed into what you're saying when you're out there talking with prospects, and this can help you to have a more prospect-focused approach. It can really take an effort to get outside of our comfort zone. Our comfort zone is talking about our company and our products. This is a little foreign, but once you really identify the value that you offer and the pain that you resolve, and you identify these details, you can shift into this direction, and that can lead to better introductions, better cold calls, more attention-grabbing emails, better conversation at networking events, and so on. Now, this all begins with your value proposition, and that's really one of the most important pieces to this. So let's talk about really what value is and how you can identify what your core value is. And the key thing here is that your value is not the product that you sell. It's what the product you sell helps your client to do or to achieve. And examples of this could be improving processes, when you help them to save time, help them to save money, make more money, enabling them to access valuable information, making your prospect's day easier. These are all examples of delivering value. And these are the things that you should focus on when you're trying to build interest and grab their attention, and when you're trying to build your value proposition. So one thing that we've done to help with this is to kind of break down value into 3 levels. And at the lowest level you have technical value, and this is really at the sort of the foundational level of your prospect's operation, right? Your prospect, regardless of what they do, they're going to have certain processes that they are working through, or that they rely on. And you can, when you likely help them to improve their processes in certain ways. You might improve systems, you might improve people, helping them to improve, or maybe helping their employees. Examples of technical value driving improvements in these areas are automating manual processes, improving the performance, not just the performance of systems, but let's say you help a client to hire better people. Well, that means that you're helping to improve the performance of their staff, decreasing the amount of time it takes to do something. And when you deliver these improvements at the lowest, most technical level, that will work its way up to create business value. So when you help to improve a process by making it more reliable or more automated, that helps to decrease costs. It could help to improve revenue. Could help to gain market share. It could help our services to be delivered more reliably. And when you deliver both business and technical value, that can work its way up to deliver personal value to the person you're selling to, or maybe to the people in their organization. Now think about it. You might sell to a VP in a particular role, and that person, yes, cares about the company and the operation, but they also care about certain things that impact them at a personal level, like their career, their income. Think about when you help the business to grow revenue, that might help that VP to hit and exceed their annual target, which means they're going to get a bigger bonus at the end of the year. that might be because of what you help them to do, and that goes into their pocket. That's a personal benefit. When you help them to reduce the amount of time they have to work and allow them to get home to where they can have dinner with their family more often, that improves their personal life, and that's personal value. So when you break value down onto these three levels, it allows you to get your hands around the different ways that you deliver value. And this can help you to not only build your value proposition, it could help you to build multiple versions of your value proposition, meaning I might have a value proposition that's more technical, one that's more business, one that's more personal. Let me show you a little bit what we're talking about. Actually, you might see that slide and you might go, well, that's kind of cool, or I get that, but I really don't know what my business value is, or you might have trouble getting your hands around what to put there. And here's an exercise that you can go through, and you can do it by simply drawing out a table, like I did here in a spreadsheet. And step one is to identify one of your products or services that you sell. Okay, and we have an example here of auto inventory replenishment software. This is a completely fictional scenario, but let's just say we have an auto inventory replenishment software. Step two is identify, what does that do? What does that provide? Well, this software automatically submits orders to vendors based on inventory levels. Okay, now that's not value at all. That's just the functionality. It does this. You plug it in or turn it, whatever, you set it up, and it'll do this. That doesn't really communicate value. But now the next step is, let's think about what is the process that helps to improve, or